Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on CrossFit Garage, where we talk about how to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So I'm back with my co-host Levi McCann, who has spent a summer perfecting his SWOLE program and then gone on to do more work on his own. And we're going to jump into that. So if you have a teenage boy that would like to be bigger, this program is for him. And I know you've probably already told your teenage boy exactly what to do, but because of the thing called proximity bias, they're just never going to listen to you. So this is Levi probably saying the exact same thing. So if you're a teenage boy, I know your dad probably told you this, but you need to listen to this podcast. He's going to talk about how he has swole up. And for him, and my genetics is not hugely swole yet, but he's in process. All right, Levi, you started tell me when you really started this journey this year. Was it like April, March, February, somewhere in there?
Yeah, it was April pretty much. So like I started being consistent about it and like focusing on my eating in April.
Okay.
And like consistently going to the gym.
Now, when you say consistently, let's talk about, because that can mean anything. People,
And as of now, it's like August, end of August.
Oh, that's true. We should probably.
I know these don't get out very quickly sometimes.
It'll probably come out late September or October. So that's a good point. So he's going to be bigger than he is now, most likely. Okay, so you started really diving into it. Well, you've been doing this for a while. It was probably last year that you said, Dad, I want to do something different. I want to be bigger. And we've been, or maybe 2 years ago, and we started you on that SWOLE program. But
yeah,
it was more recent when you decided, I am going to do my own research and take my own notes and take it more serious than just hope it's getting better.
So
tell me where the journey was. Why did you decide, hey, I want to be bigger and not specifically play sports?
For backstory, basically I think sophomore year, I'm a senior right now, sophomore year, summer going into sophomore year, I was like, hey, I want to gain some weight because for a long time, I was really short and skinny. Like, I think I was under 5 foot going into high school, probably like 90 pounds.
To quote one of your friends, hey, Levi, you're shorter than the smallest girl.
Yeah, I was very, very small. I'm now bigger. I'm 5'11", about 160 right now. So I've definitely
And for contrast,
bigger.
genetically, I am 5'8" and some change, really probably just 5'8" these days, and 165 pounds.
Yeah, so I'm getting close to him on weight.
You've already beaten me out genetically.
I guess. But so basically sophomore year summer, I was like, hey, I want to gain some weight. So I decided that I was going to spend the summer focusing on my eating and lifting. So at that point, I had no clue what I was doing really. Like I kind of knew, like I had form. I knew what form to use because I'd been at the CrossFit gym for a while. CrossFit Garage, he owns it, by the way. He forgets to mention that sometimes.
That is true. My name is Andy McCann, and I am the owner of CrossFit Garage here in Woodstock, Georgia. Yeah. I don't think I ever say that, actually.
Yeah, well, maybe this is the first time they're hearing it.
Maybe. So, yeah, if you've been listening for a while and you wonder who the guy is, that's me.
Yeah, but so I've been going on and off to the gym for a long time. So but I wasn't focusing on my eating, which is actually one of the most important parts if you want to gain or lose weight. And so since I was so skinny and I wasn't focusing on my eating, I was never really gaining weight. So sophomore year, summer, I was like, I want to gain some weight and lift. So I spent 2 months of the summer, because the summer's only 2 months for me because I'm in school. So I spent the 2 months in the summer lifting and gaining weight. And I did gain some weight. I don't remember what I went to. This was a while ago. I gained maybe 10 pounds over the summer and maybe half of it was muscle. But I think I did decent, but then school started and soccer came back up. And so that was really the kicker for me, was
Ooh, pun intended?
Yeah. Soccer would happen and I wouldn't be able to lift after, and I would do so much cardio and running that I was like, it doesn't even matter what I'm eating, I'm going to run it all off, which isn't true. But in my head, I was like, I can't do this if I'm doing soccer.
No, that's actually some valid points. So kids and parents, right? So as you negotiate the avenues of what do I want to do? One, soccer or club sports aren't that important. Nobody's going to go play in college, so do something different possibly. It's good for artificial adversity, but there is something that Levi had to make a decision. Do I want to keep playing sports, or do I want to start lifting with hypertrophy, which is not what we do at our gym, and specifically build muscles, knowing that I'm sacrificing a lot of my athletic and cardio ability. So I think your sophomore year, you're like, no, I'm not really sure I want to do that. And then your junior year, you're like, I kind of want to do it. And then really, I want to say
what it was junior year. So there was a whole different thing. There's stuff with soccer that
So we'll just skip that. They can listen to the soccer episode.
Yeah, we did a podcast on that. But basically, stuff wasn't going too good in soccer. It wasn't like I wasn't skilled. It was more of like
Well, you made a choice. Do I double down in soccer, stay athletic, keep doing CrossFit like Evan did, and then use it and keep juggling and practicing on my own? Or do I look to the future? So I guess as a middle kid, I think you have some foresight, which is hindsight for your brothers and sisters. So he's got one brother, he has a brother at UGA. So that's Evan over there. And then Olivia went to Auburn. And so as Evan so eloquently said, hey, they accepted me at UGA in like October or November, and I didn't play my last season of soccer, so obviously they don't care. So you realize quickly you don't necessarily need to do all those things all the time, and what are my actual goals? So I would say this project is hard to do if your kid is not sold on it. So dads, you can't force your kids to become bigger. Sons, you have to be into puberty. If you're not in puberty, this really doesn't work. I would just stick to doing CrossFit where you can have a coach you in right form.
If you're not in puberty yet, just keep doing sports. Even if you are, like, for a while, you should do sports just because they're fun.
Right. Well, and you learn a lot. But I'm saying if you want to change your direction of what I'm doing, I would like to be a bigger person. Not with your character.
Literally bigger.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Not figurative stuff. So you're not always railroaded by your genetics. You can do things, and maybe it's have to work a little bit harder, but everyone can get bigger. Now, my brother, who is also 50, he likes to say, I want to really like swole beefcake up. I'm like, well, dude, you're 50, don't do that. So guys,
it's a bit late for him.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but it's hard to carry around extra weight. Okay, so let me back up. I know I hired Coach Laura to work with Olivia and her nutrition. Did you work with her about gaining weight? I think you did.
I did work with her for a
So
little
did it give you some ideas on like calorie control? Not control in your case, it would be the lack of control, like how much you really were eating?
Yeah, so I mean, see, when I was with Laura, I did track stuff. I think I was with her October of last year, like around there.
Yeah.
So almost a little less than a year ago. But the whole thing was I wasn't really sold on it back then. Like I wanted to, but in my head, I was going to be playing soccer and I would lose all that weight. And so like when I tracked with her, I did realize how much I was eating, how much I should be eating. And then I kind of gave up on it after like a month or so because I wasn't really like into it. And then once I quit soccer junior year, so I guess I didn't quit. I tried out and then decided I didn't want to play.
True.
So once I quit, I was like, okay, this is it. Like I'm not gonna do nothing because I don't think
it's illegal in our house.
I don't think I could like mentally do nothing. Right. Like even on like days like where it's my rest day. Like I still have to like go into the gym and like do like abs or something, just a small something, because I just find it helps my mind. You
would be fascinated by the number of people that I podcast with from the gym that say, in addition to the health and fitness, this is like a piece of mind, a mind work. So
yes, yeah.
Let's talk stats. So let's say, what did you weigh back in April? Because I know you were really tracking it. And what do you weigh now? Not yet?
Well, I'm about to get there.
Okay.
So basically, after I quit soccer, I decided I'm gonna do this. So soccer tryouts were like January. I don't really remember what I was doing. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do like February and March. And in April, I really was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it at the CrossFit gym. I'm doing my own thing, not CrossFit. I'm training for hypertrophy. So what would you would see in like a standard like Lifetime, One Life, LA Fitness, one of those?
Yeah, and in general, it's what do you do on Monday? Back and by.
It's literally you work out isolated groups, 2, maybe 3 times a week, probably more like 2 times a week. But basically you isolate your different muscle groups and work them out once or twice a week. And it basically makes you bigger. So
what we would have said in the 80s, it was back by, chest and try, leg. So Monday you did back and by. And now And it's not. This is just a broad characterization.
Yeah, but now same thing. It's push-pull legs, faster to save. I think that's the only reason they changed it.
Right.
It's still the same thing.
It's the same thing. So basically, what you're trying to do is break down the muscle group, and then give it 2 days of rest while adding calories, so extra materials, so that your body can go back and repair and make those muscle groupings larger.
So some people might not know this. When you actually work out a certain muscle group, so let's say I need to work out my biceps. So I'll go in and I'll do, I do a little bit less than most people. I have a theory of, or I guess it's not a theory, other people have done it, but I like to do low volume, high intensity. So less sets, but more reps to failure. So I'll elaborate on that in a minute. But basically when you go in and let's say you're working your bicep, you actually tear the muscle and the muscle breaks down, and then those rest days are the days that it recovers. So that's why it's there. If they want to get bigger biceps, people don't do biceps, something else, biceps, something else, because you're hitting it way too much.
Right. Which is why
it needs
CrossFit,
that time to heal back up. So that's why.
So why doesn't CrossFit work in this scenario?
It's not necessarily bad to do that, but it won't get you size. It'll get you more strength.
Right.
So like a lot of times in CrossFit, we'll see like squats are a movement we use a lot. So there will be days where you do like squats 3 days in a row.
Right. Or it could be like we're doing a squat clean, and then the next day we do back squats.
Different squat movements. So you'll like front squats, goblet squats, and then like lunges, which all hit the same area pretty much.
So it's a different mindset and sport and goal. So CrossFit is, I always tell people, like, if they're like, well, what is it really shooting for? Think of a sprinter. They can run the 100, 400, maybe do the 2 mile, but the shape of a sprinter, and what does a sprinter do? He does everything. He never not runs. He sprints because he's training that athletic capacity. So CrossFit is for athletic capacity. It's not necessarily, it will get you bigger over time, but not nearly as fast as if you trade out all that athletic capacity and cardio. Yeah. Because who went jogging on the treadmill today?
Yeah, that was tough.
So you're giving up certain things. So CrossFit is a hedge against sickness because it'll move your biomarkers forward into fit. So you have to go through health. Lifting doesn't necessarily do that stuff for you. So you can be still pretty dang sick, but a large person. Mm-hmm. So your blood pressure may be really high, your resting heart rate may be really high. That's not the goal of it all. This is why we don't do it at the gym. You can lean your workouts towards that by always cutting down reps and lifting heavier, and that's totally fine. We have some guys that are doing that. But if you're a teenage boy and you're like, I would like to be bigger, the secret of the sauce is hypertrophy, and they've known that for years. So you can pick up any book and read up on that.
Yeah.
Well, not that they would do that. You can Google that.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, what's a book? Go ask your parents what a book is, and ask your parents where babies come from.
Yeah, don't do that. If you don't know by now, maybe this isn't the podcast for you. Hopefully it's...
Well, maybe the parents telling their kid to listen to it the first time. Oh, you mean where the babies come from? Yeah, you need to be a teenage boy. Sorry, that's a stupid quote that I like from Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, it's a Teen Titans movie.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Anyways.
So tell us your stats.
Yeah, so when I started, I was probably like 5'10" and 125 pounds. And now I am 5'11" and 160 pounds. So I've gained about 35 pounds in the 4.5 months I've been doing it, which I think is pretty good. But
anybody would say that is really good.
And this is a podcast. If we could, I'd show a picture, but I can
attach a picture into the show notes. So if you can put it online and send me a link, in the show notes, I'll show you a pre-lifting and a post, or at least an August picture of Levi.
So, but yeah, it's
and maybe I'll put in the picture of Olivia or Evie making fun of you and doing her lifting poses.
But basically, my point, if you do show the pictures, it's I have gained mostly muscle.
Right.
I would say that 85 to 90% of the mass that I've gained and the weight I've gained has been muscle. You can see there is areas where there's a little bit more fat, but like I think I had like a 4%, 5% body fat when I was 125 because I was just like, I did not have enough on me at all. I was way too skinny.
In retrospect, we have a BMI or body mass index scale at the gym. Mm-hmm. I should have had you get on that. I still can. We can go to it and do it. Now, if you guys ever use these BMI scales, they're very particular. One, you have to have a very similar water profile in you. So girls, it doesn't really work in your cycle. So you have to like do the scale outside of that. If you went heavy drinking, which shouldn't be many teenagers,
yeah.
but if you're adults, if you try to get on the scale, like I had a customer that would get on the scale almost every day, and he would do it after he worked out. So that messes everything up because you are wet in more places and the water has pushed out of your body. So it uses electric impedance and then a chart to kind of figure out, and the scale that you're stepping on, and you put in your height as well.
Basically, in simple words, the water moving places messes up the electric currents.
That's right. So you've got to be dry. You have to be the same time of day, the same water profile every time. And you can't do it after working out. Your salts have moved down. So anyway, that BMI scale is a good thing to use, and we should probably get you on that. But I'll testify to that too. Your abs have kind of hidden a bit.
They're still showing.
They're still showing.
Not as much.
Right. So you have picked up weight, but I would say the majority of it is in the muscles that you can make now.
I think the fact that I gained 35 pounds and my abs are still showing is
significant.
Decent.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I tell people all the time, they're like, how do I get my abs? Like, they're already there. They're just underneath fat and skin. So, well, you want to keep them under the skin.
You do. A lot of people say like abs are made in the kitchen, which is true. If you aren't in a calorie deficit to like get lean enough to show your abs, they're not going to show. But also, if you want them to look good, not good. They'll still look good if you just eat in a calorie deficit, but actually training abs twice a week, like any other muscle group, makes them look a whole lot better.
Oh yeah.
Because like I've looked back at pictures from before I started training, and my abs look good, but they're flat.
Right.
And so like now they pop more because I've only been training abs for maybe like 2 months, but I've already been able to see a decent difference. Like they pop more like any other muscle, so it looks better.
Yeah. Okay. So stat wise, let's talk some other stats. Maybe pick a lift, and what were you at back in April, and what are you at now?
So
you're gonna look it up. I like that. So a little segue while he's pulling up it on his phone. Track everything, guys. One of the secrets of success. I know I always joke about that, and that's the secret to CrossFit. One of the secrets of success is tracking everything and knowing where you were and where you're going to. And if it's working, and hopefully I'll try to write it down, for Levi to talk about some of the things he's experimenting with, because not everybody's body operates the same, and not every program is going to work the same for every person. So he's experimenting a little bit and seeing which ones yield a better result. So basically minimize the minimum output for the maximum gain. And that's, everybody would love to do that. I want to work less and make more money. How? I want to be in the gym a little bit less and have a bigger bang for the buck. So that's kind of what CrossFit is the hack for health and fitness, and it's done quickly with some coaching. But in hypertrophy, you do have to spend time in the gym. And anyway, so Levi is tracking stuff. Okay, so do you find a stat you want to pull up?
Yeah. I've got my bench, squat, and deadlift.
Sure.
So before I say it, I actually write down literally everything I do in the gym.
You know what you should do? You should take all of this and create content so that we can push people to it, so that they can say, here, like, a playlist on YouTube, SWOLE playlist or whatever, or maybe even like once a month, pull you back in for a recap on where you're at. I think that'd be interesting because there's a lot. I mean, how many teenage boys would like to be bigger?
A lot of them.
I would argue 99% of teenage boys to be bigger. In terms of muscle, not like...
Yeah.
Right.
I was thinking about it too. I was thinking maybe I'll do something on the YouTube channel like once a week.
Okay. That'd be cool. So y'all look for it, hold us to it.
We'll talk more about it later. Yeah. But anyways, so...
Here's some extra work on top of all your AP classes.
Yeah, and applying to college. It's so fun. But April 16th, I bench pressed 145 pounds. And
as a 1 rep max.
As a 1 rep max, that was the most I could do. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I think I was 135. Those first 10 pounds went on so fast.
So you were 135 pounds, your weight, and you were able to bench 145?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So I will say I had decent mass to, I don't know the word, strength to mass.
Sure, yeah.
Because of CrossFit and soccer.
CrossFit will make you stronger. It won't necessarily show as much though. So it increases your recruitment rather than the fiber.
Yeah. So then by June 12th, I had a 155-pound bench press.
So 20 pounds in 2 months, yeah?
Yeah.
Or 10 pounds in 2 months,
10 pounds. And then July 1st was 165, so another 10 pounds in a month. And then the next jump is also 10 pounds, and it's July 30th.
Oh, so about a month.
A month again. So you can see the beginning of July, or no, it was mid-July is when I started tracking my calories and how much I'm eating. That's really important. I've seen the most progress in the last month and a half than the rest of the time I've been working out, just because I've been tracking my calories and holding myself accountable to it. So I know how much I should be eating. I'm eating 4,500 calories a day.
So quick side. He's like, Dad, I think I ate 5,000 calories a day. And then I pulled out something to eat, and he's looking at it like he wants to eat it. And he's like, my stomach hurts so much.
Oh, yeah. It is not fun eating that many calories. That was just one time.
And when he's eating, I would consider it clean. So he does not eat Snicker bars. He's eating like what any adult would say is a clean diet. Sometimes he dirties it up, but I don't even consider that dirty. Like if he does chicken tenders, I'm like, whatever.
I'll read to you real quick what I ate on just a random day. So Thursday, August 24th, I got 4,100 calories in. So for breakfast, I always have the same thing: 2 cups of milk, 3 tablespoons of peanut butter, a banana, a scoop of collagen, 2 scoops of protein powder, and a cup of oats.
You just throw that into a bowl and then you just eat it straight out of a bowl?
I actually put it in a blender and then blend it up into a smoothie.
So on blenders, go to Costco and get a vitamix. It'll blend everything together, and if you're like, it doesn't mix well, it totally does. You can even blend your cell phone up and drink it if you want to.
That might not be the best idea, but yes, you could. And then I had a chicken tender sub this day. I had...
From Publix.
From Publix, yeah. So it's not like... It wasn't totally terrible. It was mediocre.
No, that was pretty
healthy.
good. I still think that's pretty healthy.
I feel like that's not that healthy.
So I think what would not be healthy is if you went and not got a...
Like Zaxby's chicken tenders.
If you went to Zaxby's and got their platter, I would start pushing that towards entertainment and not food. But if you go to Publix where you buy food, that's food.
I did do that for a while. I was... like when I started tracking my calories, the first 3 weeks of me tracking my calories, I was eating like shit food.
Yeah.
And I felt worse, and side effect, teenage boys will relate to this, my acne got a lot worse.
Yeah.
And since I've started cleaning up my diet and eating relatively healthy, my acne's gone down.
And your size has gone up quicker. Better food. More nutrient dense.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Right when I switched, I actually lost a little, 3 pounds right when I switched from eating like shit to eating healthy.
Yeah.
But I think that was my body just being like, whoa, what's happening, and fixing it. But then since then, it's been maybe only been 2 weeks since I started eating healthy.
I think I only get one more S word before I'm considered explicit podcast. So use a different word when you...
That's my bad.
I don't know if that's true, but we'll come up with another word.
But since I started eating healthy, I lost a little bit of weight, but then I gained a good bit quicker. And I think it's because I'm eating more nutrient-dense foods.
That's right. So what does that mean? Actually,
I'll read the rest of it real quick.
I'm going to write a note, nutrient-dense.
And then I had 16 ounces of ground beef, a cup of spaghetti sauce, a cup of broccoli, a sweet potato, and then a bagel, 3 tablespoons of butter, and some trail mix. So that all comes out to around 4,100 calories. And so for the protein count,
what app are you using to track all that?
I'm eating. I'm eating.
That's okay. You can eat it. No, that's fine.
I'm using. I don't even remember the name of it. Let me go look. My Net Diary. So it's pretty good. It's a little symbol of a green apple. If you guys want it, you can go download it. It tracks all of your nutrition too. So on that day, I had 4,100 calories, 194 grams of fat, 305 grams of protein, and some other stuff that doesn't really matter as much.
Right.
But fat and protein is the most important. If you're trying to gain weight, you need to eat the amount of protein in pounds that you want.
You want to eat the grams in pounds you want to be.
Yeah, if you want to be 180 pounds, you need to eat 180 grams
there you go.
of
Use
protein.
Real words, yeah.
And
say that again, because that is very important and people miss this all the time.
Yes. So if you are trying to gain weight, let's say you're 150 pounds, you want to be 180 pounds. you need to eat 180 grams of protein a day.
Right. And that is no small trick.
If you're trying to lose weight but still retain the muscle, you need to eat, obviously a calorie deficit under your maintenance calories, so probably around 2,000, under 2,000. And you need to hit your protein goal, which should be the target weight that you want to get to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So
That's right.
that will let you retain your muscle. But that's what I eat in a day, pretty much.
What does nutrient-dense food mean to you?
So it's food that has healthy parts to it and has lots of healthy parts for a relatively smaller amount of food.
Give me an example of something that is not nutrient-dense.
Chocolate.
Okay, give me something that is very nutrient-dense.
Chicken and broccoli.
There you go. So it's basically all that stuff that like meat. If you eat red meat, it has more nutrients, more of the building blocks of life in it per gram than anything else.
Like a steak will fill you up, like a 9-ounce steak. That's what I normally eat when I go out to a steakhouse. 9-ounce steak, that'll fill you up. It's only around 600 calories. It's not like a good portion of your calories, but it gives you like 80 grams of protein, which is a massive chunk of what you need for the day. And it has so many other nutrients that are good for you, as opposed to like going out and eating some other bad stuff that isn't as good for you.
What's the trick for the getting your protein?
Give you as much protein.
Not a trick. What have you found that you need to do? Like, how about this? Let me back it up. If you don't get enough protein in the morning, are you playing catch up all day?
I never look at my protein.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Because you already know you're getting enough?
I get way too much. I showed you, I had 300.
Okay.
And I need 180.
Right.
So, like, that was just a normal day. Like, protein is very easy for me to get just because I eat some form of protein with every meal. And pretty much as long as you do that, like, you will hit your protein.
Some people don't. They wake up and have Pop-Tarts. How much protein in there?
It's like 2.
Right.
2 grams.
Nothing good. So I like what Levi's doing. There's something really called either willpower fatigue or decision fatigue. So if you're always making choices all the time and always trying to not choose the bad things, so breakfast, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I think I'm just going to eat pancakes and syrup. Well, now you got to flex willpower not to eat it, and you need to flex on your decision. And rather than do that, he's saying he eats pretty much the same meal every morning, which I didn't know that. Good job on you. I eat pretty much the same meal every morning, which is also a smoothie, but it's probably got a lot less stuff in it.
Actually, it's kind of strange. I found that for example, today, Mom made oatmeal for me. She makes homemade oatmeal. And I woke up and I walked downstairs after showering and I see the homemade oatmeal like sitting in my spot. And for some reason, my first reaction was like, why would she make that? I have to make my protein smoothie. And this has like only 200 calories and like 5 grams of protein. This is not calorie dense.
So you've officially gone over the edge. Okay, so my son is a little bit OCD on this. Good. All right.
Yeah, but
making him a good coach for your children if you need a coach. But yes, go ahead.
And like when you made French toast for us, it was like first day of school. And I know you're trying to be nice. My first thought was like, this is so bad for the macros. Why? I can't eat this. But I was like, he made it, I'm going to eat it.
I use a lot
and it still tastes good.
Extra eggs in there.
That's good.
Yeah, so I cheat on the egg side of it. Like most people do like 1 egg and then a lot of milk. I use like 8 eggs and a tiny little bit of milk. So basically you're eating
I'm eating eggs.
You're eating eggs with toast already cooked into it.
But I just thought that was funny. I just
that is.
It's like my brain has switched from eating for entertainment to eating for fuel.
That's right.
And that doesn't mean that everything I'm eating is like tastes like crap, but gets me a lot of like calories in. I still eat stuff that tastes decent enough. Actually, my morning smoothie's been tasting terrible recently. I've almost thrown up drinking it in the morning.
Interesting. You know how to fix that? Put an egg in it.
No, that'll actually make it worse.
So that's my cheat way to get more protein is I crack an egg. Crack an egg in it every morning. We get 2 fresh eggs from our backyard. So they're like super fresh. 2. No, I only use 2.
No, we probably get more than 2.
Oh yeah. So I was trying to. I need to hatch some more because I guess the hawks have like decimated the flock. Yeah, we had at one point about 50, and now we're down to about 25.
Oh.
In under like 2 weeks. So I don't know what happened, but. Yeah, I need to hatch some more. So anyway, we have more eggs now, but I was stealing them all to put them in the incubator. Okay, so you have been super intentional in, the decision that you've made, I'm going to make this happen, is huge because you've even then made choices outside of our normal bounds. And I love that it's following your goals. So I'm all on board. So I own a gym. It is not a great place to do hypertrophy. It does work, and you made some good progress there, and you're doing some things. Yeah. But you have nobody to keep you accountable. Mm-hmm. And we don't have some of the gear necessary. Yeah. So you've ordered some things to make it work. But you had mentioned earlier, the app helps you stay accountable. But also, I think the changes you've made recently, where you're going to one of the bigger gyms with friends. Yeah. And so having someone along on the journey is super helpful. If you don't have anybody along for the journey, you could fall to the wayside a little bit. Yeah. So this is why I was like, you know what? You want to pay for a gym even though we have one? Sure. Because your goals don't align with what we do. So I know as a gym, we're not great for everybody, but your friends keep you accountable. Yeah. Especially who else are you going to get in the mirror with and strike poses with?
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you didn't have your rids there.
But it is, I will say I made good progress, a little bit slower than what I'm making now at the other gym, but I still made very good progress at the CrossFit Garage training hypertrophy. It was just free weights, they didn't have machines. But it still worked very well. There's just certain muscle groups that were harder to hit because they're very hard to hit with free weights. I find triceps hard to hit. All I can really do is skull crushers or push-ups. And sometimes my chest will already be super sore and I'm I can't do push-ups. Right. So I can't work out my triceps.
Yeah, so free weights is probably the best way to go on any type of hypertrophy build. But it is a great way to go.
It is a good way to go.
But it's not the only way.
The best way to go is having about a 70-30 split.
Sure, because there's some things we just can't do. No. You bought some things to help yourself.
I'm saying 70% machine, 30% free weight. Because, and by machine, it doesn't have to be like a very crazy machine. It just has to be something that keeps your movement isolated. Because for example, a dumbbell press, not machine. When you go do a dumbbell press, your hands move in 3 different planes. They move in the 3D. So it's your hands can move forward and backward, up and down, and left and right.
We also call that the X, Y, and Z axis.
Yeah, but
to nerd out for all you people.
Everybody knows.
No, they all know this. Everybody knows it.
Sure. But basically, the more variables there are for you math people, the more variables there are, the less you're going to get out of it because some variable will be hitting some other muscle that isn't really supposed to be moved. So that's why
So this is the difference between...
Good. So then a machine is a strict path of motion and very isolated and people have already done the science behind what machines... Right. They make the machines specifically for this. So.
And they put diagrams up and show red flares.
And they show what it hits. It's so easy to go in and know what to do. You look at the diagram, if it looks like the area that you want to hit, you do it.
Right. So So, and again, is the difference between a hypertrophy versus a CrossFit methodology, or what they would maybe consider body sculpting versus athletic performance. So you don't see again, going with the, 200-meter sprinter, I need my calves to be a little bit bigger because it looks better. They're not really worried about that. They're just going with, hey, my body looks athletic. Yes. So body sculpting is different. And then you can even go further into the body competitions, which then you're even doing more sculpting to hit something specific that may be lacking in your own genetic profile, right? I need to do more to get my forearms built up. So you end up doing a lot of forearm crunches or something.
That is actually something that I need to work on. I have kind of
But there's always something. Yeah. Okay, so let me back up into some other questions. So accountability, I think you've solved that really well. 1, you have the app. 2, you have a partner or partners, people who will work out with you. Yeah. And while it's not in the calendar, which I wish it was.
Sorry.
Yep, no problem. We all know after school you're going to the gym.
Yes.
So it is a habit. So the habit stack is I went to school and I have all my crap in the car and I'm going to the gym on the way home. So I love that. Now the Keystone habit is you have to go to school. If you don't go to school, you're probably going to miss the gym in there because you're going to have to figure it out some way. No, we haven't gotten there yet.
No, because there's the weekends. It's just such a peace of mind thing for me now that if I don't go, I feel like I haven't been successful for the day.
Sure. So now we're trading. So all the parents or all the psychologists out there just heard we're transferring one problem for another.
Yeah,
now he's
yeah.
going to have a psychology
So I'm gonna
bill
have
that he has to pay.
a lot. I'm gonna have a lot of issues, but I'm gonna be.
No, it's not an issue. These are good issues.
I'm gonna be jacked.
Yeah.
While having issues
would-
instead
so,
of skinny and have bad.
Did you know in
issues.
the 80s they used to call it Andied? They didn't say jacked. It wasn't jacked. It was like everyone was like, "Oh, you're Andied."
I'm sure they did.
They did, yeah.
No, yeah.
You should go back to the 80s and look that up.
Yeah, I'm sure they were all like, "Oh, look at this kid.
So-
Andy, he's so jacked."
What has made it more so? A trend that I see is for an adult, I can't make it in the gym. For a kid, I don't want to make it to the gym, right? So what was the keystone habit or trigger or whatever that allowed your accountability to grow to be so hardcore?
I don't think it was it may have been a trigger, but
Or what are you doing
think-
that's giving you the success? Like, why are you so consistent?
why am I doing it?
No. Why are you doing it? What helps you be so consistent? Is it the friend? Is it the timing of it?
I see
Is
what
it the
you're saying.
tracking? What's the thing that you're like, this, I'm going to do it because it fits in my day very well or whatever?
So besides the whole like peace of mind thing, because I didn't have that until maybe like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. What it was is that I had friends who were doing similar things. I had a food app that I was constantly tracking food with that held me accountable. And also, I actually find this really useful. I know you guys think I'm just being like conceited or something, but I walk around the house with my shirt off so that when I see a mirror, I can see myself, and then I'll be like, wow, you need to put on some weight, skinny boy. And
so
then,
you have some motivation. You have some internal
So
motivation by visual.
like if you're fat, walk around the house with your shirt off, and then look at, if you live with someone else, see like how they look at you, see yourself in the mirror when you walk by. And this probably won't work as well for girls because girls are more emotionally sensitive. But like for guys, like
We're robots. We don't have emotions yet. You have to wait until I think you're 52, then you get emotions. I'm still waiting for them.
oh yeah. What are you right now? 50?
At 50, so I have no
Getting
emotions
close.
yet. You're getting close.
But really, it's just like you don't notice it if you're not looking at yourself. Like I'm sure the people who get fat aren't looking at themselves in the mirror constantly or weighing themselves on the scale once
As a kid.
every now and then.
As an adult, there are other pressures. We sit all day. There's so many other things. And that could be probably true as well. But I do like that. Like I've had, when we do goal reviews with people, some people say, they're like, hope it doesn't sound, I forgot the word. Like you just said, narcissistic, conceited or whatever.
Narcissistic
I
is
do
probably
some
a
of
better
this
word.
because I like the way I look.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, definitely. You definitely want that. I mean, that is not bad. That is good.
That is top 3 reasons I go into the gym is because I want to be proud of the way I look.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. So what was there anything in your setup of the day that allowed you to move there? Or was it just like a buildup of many habits that created this? So obviously you didn't walk around with your shirt off all the time and then be like, okay, I need to go. But something has made you dedicated and consistent.
It was really the fact that a lot of it was a good bit of it was probably social media. I see people with like gym
could do
videos,
that. Yeah.
and I'm like, they look good. Why don't I look like that?
Right.
Like I could look like that.
You
if
can,
I
but it takes hard work.
work out. And obviously, there's some people who do steroids. You're not going to look like them, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Like I look nowhere near as good as I will in 2 years.
That's right.
And so like, that's just how it is. It's going to take time. But I would say like, besides like just seeing myself, was also seeing the like progress of some of my friends. Mm-hmm. Like I have this one friend who's been working out maybe like an extra like 9 months longer than me. And so in those 8 of those 9 months before I started working out, he was bulking. So he was my weight, my height, and he put on 130 to 185.
Yeah.
And then he got there and he was like, okay, I kind of look a little bit fat now. I'm going to cut my weight and
Drop the calories, not necessarily.
drop the calories,
not wrestler
still
cut.
get your protein in. And so over the last 3-4 months, he's gone down to 160, but he's gotten most of his muscle and he looks great.
Yeah.
So it's like seeing my friends have success in the thing that I want to
Motivates you
do
as well.
really helps. And also I quit soccer and I did tell myself that when I quit soccer, I was going to do this.
Yeah. So this is good stuff. So I'm going to kind of translate that down for what we do. And then also kids, if you're listening to that, I say kids, I'm sorry, you're small adults. I don't know. You teenage boys. Having accountability, being around people who already have what you want or are on the path to get it is awesome. So adults, if you're like, hey, I haven't done anything in the last 40 years or 20 years, whatever, I need to do something. That's what our gym is full of, people who are on the path to do something. So it's a very healthy mindset of people on or in progress getting there. Kids or teenage boys, if you're thinking, I'd like to do this, who do I do it with? Well, if you go to the gym closest to your house, you're probably going to find people or teenagers there, or maybe one close to the high school you go to. You're going to find other people there, and it's going to be an easy, hey, let's talk to each other, let's keep each other accountable, or be able to ask them questions. Hey, what are you doing, right? You can actually reach Levi if you want to ask him questions. It's levi@crossfitgarage.com, and you can ask him what he's done. Hopefully we'll come up with some more content that it'll be easier for you guys to kind of grab this without literally having to ask every time. But that's good stuff. Like, have your goals, to know what you're doing to try to get there is huge. Deciding that you want to do it is huge. Having tools in place like you have is huge. Having a plan. The nice thing about the plan is hypertrophy has been out there forever. Just start. And then you can massage it as you go on. Okay, so let me ask you about this. So you said you were lifting, and then the biggest thing that really made the change was not just eating, but tracking what you were eating. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
So people eat not what they think they eat. So like people who are overweight will try to lose weight and they won't be losing weight. And they're like, oh, my body just doesn't lose weight. But they're not tracking what they're eating. They're just eating slightly less than they were before. So it's like going from like 5,000 a day to like 4,500 a day.
Right.
You are still eating too much.
Right.
So like you need to get an app that tells you you do this much athletic activity a day, and you want to be this weight by this time. This is what you need to eat in calories per day to get there. Yeah. And so like, it's really that simple. Just get an app. I use MyNet Diary. MyFitnessPal also works, and it just tells you. It literally tells you what to do.
Right. And you can go online and Google any of these things. It's just being able to have that plan. So lifting is smart, eating is smart, tracking is smart. These are the things you have to do. We talked about some of your stats. We talked a little bit about what hypertrophy is. So boys, if you want to get bigger quickly, it is hypertrophy, but it's hard to do while you're playing sports.
It is
so
hard.
Just be aware that you're going to like kind of have two goals that are counterproductive.
Yeah. And you probably won't have much time if you're playing sports.
That's true.
You always have enough time. Like I was going to mention this earlier when you said with adults who like work. If you work, I'm going to make an assumption here. You're working 9 to 5. I assume that's the longest most people are working. Sometimes you maybe like go overtime like 9 to 6.
Sure.
I go to school from 8 to like 3:30. Mm-hmm. And so like that is roughly the same time. I think it's like half an hour less.
Right.
8 to 4 is the same as a 9 to 5. So it's like half an hour less. And I have time to go to the gym. I go to the gym for way longer than I should. I'm at the gym for like 2.5 hours. I leave at like 6. And I get out of school at like 3:30. So I'm there for 2.5 hours. You only need to be in there for like an hour and like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah. So adult-wise, yeah. So CrossFit shortcuts that, gives you a 1 hour time frame.
Yes.
Boys, if you're trying to do hypertrophy, probably an hour more. Mm-hmm. But you can put it in there if you really want it to be in there.
Like if you're telling yourself you don't have enough time, unless you genuinely don't stop working from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you have enough time.
Right. Well, and so here's the thing that adults will end up struggling with that you haven't seen yet is I have an EV to drive around. Like, great. So now I'm going to be at soccer practice for, let's see, she has a practice for an hour and a half. It's a 30-minute drive. So now I've got 2.5 hours of time that's unaccounted for me to like, well, I can't do hypertrophy, but you know what I do? So I own the gym. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, while she is at practice, because I'm driving on those days, I actually just don't go to the gym. And those have become, one day is a jog day and the other day is a bike day. I'm like, okay, great. I'm just practicing for my adventure race. So I just moved my workout there because I'm going to be there anyway. Might as well be productive. Yeah, and so you can do it if you massage your time. It's adults. It doesn't have to be a lot. You could literally just do 7 minutes of burpees and try that for a while, right? Teenagers, if you're trying to use this hypertrophy stuff, you do need to spend more time in the gym because you have to give your arms and your stuff proper rest between sets. Yeah. Yeah,
and just going off that real quick, proper rest, you want to be giving yourself around 2 minutes in between each set to let your muscles rest, because Here, I'll go into my
Yeah, what do you do when you go to the gym?
my low volume, high intensity thing. So basically, what it is some people will go to the gym and they'll do 8 different chest workouts with 5 sets every time. And
So let me back up. What is a set and what is a rep? Tell me what
oh, sorry.
Yeah. Cover them.
Yeah, that's my bad.
So what is a set and what is a rep? So they talk about sets and reps. What does that mean? Just in case a teenager doesn't have any idea.
A rep is each time that you move the weight and get full range of motion. So if you're doing a bench press, it's each time that you press the bar from chest to the top. That's 1 rep. And then a set is how many times you go from benching to not benching.
Right.
So you can do 1 set of 10 reps. You get on the bench, start your set, push the bar up and down 10 times, 10 reps, and then you just did 1 set of 10 reps. And so a lot of time people write this down as 1x10.
Right.
1 set, 10 reps. It's easier like that.
Right.
So some people will do like 5 different machines with like 4 sets each, and they only do like a medium weight because they fatigue the muscle so much that you can't push and strain the muscle to the point you need. And so one of the ways that I like to think about it is like just think about back in like caveman times. The only way people were getting muscle and looking like athletic, I guess, or the only way they were gaining muscle would be like they are constantly using this muscle, so their body's response is, oh, we need more muscle there so that we don't die. Like
Right.
That is what your body thinks. Your body doesn't realize you're in like some like, you got cars and cell phones and like you can eat as much as you want. Like in your instincts, your body is like, we're a caveman,
Right.
and if we're using a muscle a lot, we're gonna build it up.
So it's on top of that, it's survival. Your
Yeah.
body wants to survive. And so if it feels that I'm doing, in this case, a lot of bench pressing or a lot of chest work, it's going to respond with, well, dang, I better make that muscle group bigger.
Yeah.
Or in CrossFit's realm, it recruits more muscle fibers. So
so-
it either needs to grow it or recruit more to help you be prosperous in that lifestyle.
And so that might sound like I'm saying, go do as many reps and sets as you can. But no, that's not what I'm saying. So your body thinks like that. And if you do a lot of reps and sets, you still see progress. But in my opinion, from what I've seen and from what other people have researched, I feel like this is a general, like, good conclusion that a good bit of people have come to. If you do low volume, high intensity. So on my chest days, instead of doing the 6 different machines, I only do 3 different things. I do 2 movements for my upper chest and 1 for my mid chest. Lower chest doesn't really need to be worked out. It's kind of not really a thing.
Along for the ride.
It's like not technically a thing. So like lower chest movements just work your bottom of your
So what do you do with the
mid-chest.
other ones? What are you doing then on the
So
lifts?
basically, my chest day is I'll do an incline Smith machine bench press. So it keeps the bar in a straight path, and I'm in an inclined bench so that it targets my upper chest. I'll do a seated chest press, which is another machine. I actually use way more machines than I do any other day on chest day. I'll do a bench machine where I don't know how to explain it too well. It's like you're sitting in a chair and then you have a handle next to you on each side and you just press straight out.
Sure. But what are you doing sets and reps wise?
I was about to go over that.
Yeah.
Basically, I do 1 warm-up set for each of these, and then I do 2 working sets. I want to get 5 to 10 reps where I'm failing and I can't do any more in those reps. And then once I fail, I do partials. So I just move the weight as much as I can until I literally can't move.
Okay.
And I give myself 2 minutes to rest.
So that's maximal tear down of your muscle.
Yeah, you're tearing your muscle as much as you can, because the most important reps are the reps, the failure reps.
It is. That's exactly true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read that, or do you remember me telling you
read
that? Okay. Yeah, I tell people that all the time.
Yeah,
Sometimes failing on your lift is more important.
Yeah, the most important reps are the failure reps. And so, obviously, if you load like 300 pounds on a bench press and you try to do it, and it just drops on you, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a weight you can do. That's why the minimum is 5 reps. And then getting to maybe maximum 12 and failing. You don't really want to go over 12. That's kind of too much. But you want to fail and then like just push the weight as much as you can. Don't make it terrible technique. Don't hurt yourself. Be smart about it. But yeah, that's basically what I do.
So similarly, I will tell people in the gym, your body or mind will give out before your other body or mind, right? So one will decide, like, your mind usually goes first, like, I can't do anymore. And you like put the bar down. So we've had many occasions, like we'll do thrusters. There's a workout called Fran, which is thrusters and pull-ups. And they're like, I just can't do any more thrusters. I have to put the bar down. And I'll tell them, when you get to that point, just do 3 more. When your mind says stop, see if your body will do 3 more. And they can always do it. So typically your mind shuts off and says, hey, you should put that down in survival mode. Hey, don't do that, stop that. But it's more important in your body. You're teaching yourself something, and in your mind, your nervous system, pushing that, like, okay, I can do that, right? So you're teaching. So I'll tell people the same thing. Go past the point so that you know you can do it. And you'll get a different reference of, and again, it's not the exact same in building, but it's more that neurological adaptation of, I can do this.
Yeah, and so a lot of beginner lifters, like, even me, when I started, I was like not going to failure because I didn't know really what failure was for me. I like to say, you go to a point of mild discomfort and then you stop because it's slightly uncomfortable.
Right. It's like marriage. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hopefully not. But like when I was doing leg extensions today, I did legs today, legs and abs. So I was doing leg extensions, and I wasn't paying attention. I went to mild discomfort. I realized, like, oh, this is a heavy weight. Oh, I'm kind of tired. And then I held the weight at the top and let it push me down. So it's a negative.
Sure.
But I let it push me down, and then I was done. And then I got off of it, and I was like, I could have done way more. Or maybe not way more, but I could have done like 2-3 more. So I got back on, and since I had that short period of rest, I did slightly more. I did like 5, but then I did partials where I was using all of my effort to get to get my legs fully extended, and I genuinely couldn't. And so I'd get them a little bit and hold it, let it push me down, then get it a little bit, then push me back down. And that's actually where it's really good to work out with friends, because they can help you and push the machine a little bit to get you to that maximum range of motion, so then you can control the negative down.
Right.
Those reps are really important.
I also like it when they control the negative by like jeering and giving you sass. And they're like, fine, I'll do it because you're making fun of me. No, don't make fun of. Have you ever heard of the word?
Works.
It sometimes does. So have you heard of supersets?
Yeah, I do those sometimes.
And so what is a superset? These kids are like, wait, I thought it was just sets. What does a superset mean?
So a superset is when, I use that term loosely sometimes, but I'm pretty sure most of the time a superset is like, you start off with that heavy weight that lets you get 5 to 12 reps where you're failing. And then so let's say I'm doing 100 pounds on the leg extensions, which I'm not, I'm doing more than that. That's relatively light. Let's say that's my working set, doing 100 pounds. And then when I fail, you let it go, move the weight. So now I'm doing 70 pounds, and you go again until you can't go anymore.
Yeah, so that would make you a Superman set. So I think, is
that what you were talking about?
Well, in the 80s, maybe it's different now, but similarly, it would be like when people say, hey, today is Monday, so it's, was it back by? Yeah, so it's back and by, chest and tri, and legs, right? You group those together because they don't interfere with each other.
Yeah.
So what you could do is superset, create, like, let's say I'm going to do, 5 sets of 10 reps in the bench. And I'm going to do 5 sets of 10 reps in squats. Those are non-interfering, right?
You have a different definition.
Yeah,
of superset.
so what I would do is I would do a set of bench, and while I'm in my rest period, I would go do my set of squats. And then while I'm resting for my squats, I'm going over to the bench. So you're basically just putting, using that time sort of efficiently when it's not that same muscle group, which in reality is hard to not work out a group.
So I don't like that, because you would be doing a chest, tri, and legs day, which means that I guess if you really wanted to, you could. Well, I'll say something else about it in a second, but you wouldn't be going into the gym another day, and you'd probably have to be like walking across the gym a lot, because most machines are grouped together by muscle group.
Right.
So you'd have to like do the chest, run to the other side of the gym, do your legs, run back.
That's a good
point.
point.
It's kind of like doesn't work too well unless you have your own space.
Logistically, it's off.
And also, you don't realize it, but you are straining muscles that you're not specifically working out. So like on a bench press, you technically are using your legs if you're doing it properly.
Right.
You're not doing a ton with your legs, but you are pushing with your legs.
Right.
So then if you go, like, I guarantee you, if you try to max out on bench press as heavy as you can go one day, and let's say you get 175 pounds, and then when you're completely rested and feel better another day, you do a heavy 5 sets of 4 squats, and then go max out, you'll get like 170.
Right, you're going to go down.
You won't be able to.
Yeah.
So it's technically less efficient because you're not isolating your muscle groups properly.
So superset, the idea of that came up, actually, the word you use, efficiencies, right? So what people are trying to do is make their time efficient, and they're sacrificing the efficiency of the program.
Yeah.
So kids, if you've got time, use it. Don't sacrifice and do supersets. Stay the course, let the rest happen, and stay focused. Adults, if you're like, hey, I don't have time, that's where CrossFit comes into place. We superset everything. So you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck or biggest return on your investment in the health and fitness arena.
I'm talking about
the kids. Yeah, for sure.
Hypertrophy.
Yeah, no, me too. If you're a kid, if you're a teenager, I also would agree. If you've got time, do not superset, but instead do it correctly.
Yeah.
And use the time appropriately.
And also, if you do superset like that, you'll have more rest days, which does put you in a not as good habit of not going to the gym every day.
I do like that. If you can make it like I tell people all the time for our gym, just show up. I don't feel like coming in and working out. I said, just come in and row. You're keeping that habit going. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, I just thought this was funny. You said superset was made in the 80s, and my first thought was, well, people also took meth as a pre-workout in the 80s.
That's true. They did a lot of stupid stuff in the 80s, yeah. It's only fun because the 80s generation is living in the internet world, so we make all those things that everyone's using, so everyone likes the 80s, only because it just so happened that this is when all this internet stuff occurred.
Yeah.
Had it been, had the internet come out like it is in the 80s, we'd all be talking about the 20s, the roaring 20s, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's why people are interested in it. But you're right. So we did a lot of stupid stuff. I'll say this too. There was where did the story come from? I probably shouldn't, I'm going to keep the names out so that nobody gets in trouble, but it was college baseball, and the kids came back from the summer, and the coach looked at Timmy, and he's like, well, dang, Timmy, you look huge. Would you take some steroids? And the Timmy turns to him, he says, well, coach, yes, I did. I found some stuff that is really working. And all the other players are like, shut up. So do not, unless you want to ruin yourself for later on, do it natural. Yes, there are stuff you can buy that'll move the needle faster, quicker, and all that, but you'll pay for it later on. So don't.
Yeah,
so what Levi is doing is all natural growth, and there's nothing, besides creatine, there really isn't anything you use.
Creatine, well, that's still natural.
Right. I'm just saying there's no additional products.
Anything that's not natural will have to be like some sort of lab. You got to go to a doctor to get it, or you have to get it illegally.
Some steroids are legal, and they just put them in mixtures.
Well, okay, you know what I mean. But I would say don't do steroids because people are seeing like influencers now, like influencers who took steroids and were super jacked, like dying at like 35.
Right. There is a cost to it. If you want to rev the engine that fast, the engine's going to blow out.
Like if you're 70 and you're in good shape and you were like, hey, I want to get as big as I can these last 10 years, like go ahead and take steroids and make it 8 years.
Right.
But
so I've said the same thing. So someone asked me, would you ever take steroids? I'm like, if I'm 80 and I'm feeling like, heck yeah, I'm going to start jumping on this. If I feel like there's only 10 years left, I'm going to make it, like you said, a good 8 years. Like whatever. I don't want to go down. I don't want to be the guy who can't move. So hopefully I'll never get there because I'm going to keep doing CrossFit for my entire life.
Yeah, CrossFit will make you live forever.
Apparently, yeah. So, okay, what advice would you give the teenage boy who's like, okay, yes, I do want to start this journey? What would you say is a good first 3 steps?
First 3 steps. Go to the gym every day with a program that you have. And if you want it to be easy, you can ask me and I'll send you a program.
Levi at CrossFitGarage.com, but they could probably just Google anything and get something.
And I will send you like a basic push-pull legs, back by chest try legs, that thing. Also, I'm probably going to be starting a thing on YouTube soon where I'll talk about what I'm doing and like show you what I did for the week. And I'll talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. So you can look at that.
Put it under yours or my YouTube?
Probably yours.
Okay. So it'll be.
I don't use mine
If you go to YouTube, it's oddly enough, it's just titled Andy McCann because at the time I didn't know how YouTube worked. It was back in 2008, and I just put my name in there. So there is a YouTube channel for CrossFit Garage, but I actually never use it. It's just me. So
yeah. But so step 1, have a program and go to the gym every day. Step 2, log what you eat, and just like don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So
would you say 3 is maybe accountability?
A trick. Well, I'll say 3 in a second.
Sure.
We got to elaborate on 2.
Yeah.
So a trick that I use, kind of work against yourself. So I'm trying to gain weight, and I don't want to get a scale and like measure out in grams everything I'm eating. So my FitnessNet has a scanner that if it's packaged, I can scan the barcode and it'll tell me like how much it is, and I can just know I got it on the dot. But like if I'm eating just ground beef, I'll look at it and I generally know how much a cup is. If it looks like a cup, I'll do 0.8 of a cup. So I'm trying to gain weight, so I log less food because it doesn't hurt me if I hit my calories, but technically I ate more food.
I like that. That's a good hack, actually. Yeah.
And so I do this. I tell my friends who are trying to lose weight the same thing. I'm like, when you eat stuff, just say that you ate 100 more calories than you did.
Yeah.
Because that, and still don't go over your goal, because to be honest, you probably did.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to really measure everything out exactly.
It's hard to get it. Some stuff's going to be over, some stuff's going to be under. Assume the worst so that you get the best.
And your friends that you're mentioning are other guys that are lifting that are now in their lean cycle. They want to lean out a bit.
They were just originally just a bigger dude.
Sure, and they're trying to cut down.
Yeah. And all my friends are pretty much doing this. And all my friends who are tracking their weight and going to the gym almost every day are all seeing progress. Yeah. Good progress too.
Yeah, that's good. So you may be thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm a girl. Can I do this? The answer is sure, you can do anything you want, almost anything you want, but you just don't have the same amount of testosterone. Your bodies are made differently.
Yeah, and so most girls don't want to get bulky.
Right.
And I guarantee you won't get bulky.
No, it's very hard.
As a girl, if you're not, you have to take some type of steroids to get bulky.
You need some accelerators.
Most guys work out and never get bulky.
Right. That's what in the CrossFit, it's funny, in the CrossFit world, one of the questions I get most from women is it going to make me bulky? And I quickly whip off my shirt and like, do I look bulky? No, I don't. But that'd be funny. I should do that. I just say, hey, look at me. I've been doing this for 15 years or whatever at the time. I don't look bulky. I'm just an athletic build. It doesn't make you bulky. Girls, if you want to be bigger, there are ways to do that, but it is a lot trickier just because you're just going to have a low. And let me give you an example of testosterone. So they'll say for a guy, I think it's something like 400 units of testosterone. I don't know what the scale is, but micro rads or something, whatever. So 400 is the number where they're like, you're too low. I sit at 450. So I have really low testosterone, but I've been like that forever. So it's not unusual for me. I get it, right? Guys can be all the way up into like 1200 or whatever. They can be pretty high or even higher. Girls, when they talk about your testosterone levels, it's like 11, and that's really high. It's just that different. So we're talking magnitudes different.
Yeah, and also one thing I will say, the reason you have to be in puberty to do this is, I'll use me as the example. I got blood work done before I started puberty. I started puberty late, like in ninth grade. I don't care if people know that. But like
I didn't start until I was like a junior. So your mom and I were like juniors and seniors. So we double blessed you with the late.
Extra weird. Yeah, that's also why I was so short.
When you're 30, you're going to look like you're 20 and it'll be great.
Sure, hopefully. But basically, I got blood work done and they measured my testosterone at like the end of 8th grade, beginning of 9th grade. And it literally told me, it was like, the number was so small it didn't come back. It was less than 1.
Yeah.
I had less than 1 testosterone as a guy before puberty. And I also had less than 1 estrogen. So it wasn't like I was a female. But like
you just weren't doing the hormone response yet. So you did not have that.
If you haven't hit puberty yet, you're not going to gain muscle like this. Because testosterone is part of the thing that builds your muscle.
Right. Now you can be like take a gymnast and be ripped.
You can get in shape,
but it's not going to be
build testosterone.
Yeah, that's right.
Or build muscle.
But you can build testosterone. You just use like a crayon and I don't know.
But
okay, so guys, or boys, small men, whatever, in parting, there are 3 things you can do. Levi just told you those. If you need any extra help, Levi@CrossFitGarage.com. Actually, I think that email goes to me, and then I'll just forward it to you.
Whatever.
So, yeah,
It's
I don't know
fine.
if I've ever fixed that. Adults, if you're thinking, hey, I'd love some help, Levi will work with your kid. Anytime you want to shortcut a process, you hire a mentor. He's super busy, so it's super expensive, but he's happy to work with you at a super high price. So I would try free first, take the materials, see what he can do on his own, find some accountability. But it's not a hard journey. It's just the journey that needs to happen. Anything that you really want is probably going to be a little bit difficult, but hey, setting aside time to go to the gym isn't terrible. You just literally have to go.
Yeah.
That's it. So I think the problem that your brother runs into, he's in college, is there's not enough food in the day for me to eat. I need to eat and eat and eat and eat. So he's not getting enough food. So he's like, I'm already lost 3 pounds. I'm like, dude, eat more. He's like, I just can't find time to eat.
I don't know what he's doing. He eats like...
Well, he's off the school meal plan, so he doesn't have access to the unlimited supply of
he's got to buy
whatever
his groceries.
hall, whatever it's called.
Yeah, but no, I see what he does. He eats. Remember how I was talking about how it's hard to eat it's hard to hit my calories when I'm eating healthy. Mm-hmm. He eats healthy.
He does, yeah.
And he eats enough food to where he feels full, but he's probably only getting like 2,800 calories a day or 3,000.
That's actually a good one in parting too. So when you eat, do you just eat till you feel full, or do you eat till you're uncomfortable?
I eat till I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, so you need to be packing this stuff down.
Well, and at this point, I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up eating this much anymore because my stomach's expanded and I've gotten used to it. But when I tell you at the beginning, like I started tracking my food in like late July, and I was only eating 3,400, and I was like getting like 3,401 calories a day, and I was about to throw up all the time.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting like 4,500, and I just feel fine.
Yeah. So one is maybe different foods, but the other, I guess we've talked about this, a lingering effect is, hey, when you decide to change, you're going to have to edit how you eat because your stomach's going to be used to it, which is a whole different problem.
It's tough, but
this is building muscle.
If you slowly shift into it, it works.
So, man, wiser words couldn't have been said. In everything you guys do it slowly and smartly. If anybody can guarantee I can get you big, like huge muscles in a month, run, because something's bad's about to happen.
Like how I was told, like when I was on my soccer team, oh yeah, we can, we got something that'll get you real big. I know you're a small 5-foot freshman right now. You looking pretty skinny. We could give you something that'll make you bulk up real fast.
Run from that stuff that'll bulk you up fast. All right, guys. Again, our gym, CrossFit Garage, is located here in Woodstock, Georgia. We're just south of downtown Woodstock, across from one of my favorite shops, Black Rifle Coffee. And if you need us, we're right there. If you want to chat with me, my email address is easyandy@CrossFitGarage.com. And if you'd like help with hypertrophy and lifting, then it's Levi@CrossFitGarage.com. You can find us on all the socials out there. You can obviously listen to this podcast, share it out. You can find us on YouTube as well. In addition to the CrossFit stuff, I also will talk about food and finances, because if you're going to be living for a long time, you probably have some money to go with it. Otherwise, it's not going to be that much fun. And some of that involves eating a better type of food. And so we encourage people to up their food from entertainment to something you grew at your home. And that'll be coming up soon. I'm going to ask everybody to turn in, or to pick, what would you like to grow in the spring, so that you have your own food on hand and you grew something for your plate. It's going to be an interesting thing. Hopefully some of you guys pick chickens, and instead of just growing a tomato plant, you actually try to grow something or raise an animal that gives you eggs or something that'll add to your protein count. Anyway, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you'll get something out of this, and don't be a stranger. We're here to help.